What is the word, y'all? This is Devontae. This is Reaper Training, and y'all now tuned into the Reaper Motivation Podcast. I appreciate y'all for joining me today, man. And today, I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited for this podcast. So to fill y'all in, when I first had the idea to do a podcast, I was torn between making it like a motivational fitness type thing, and I was also like, I love hip hop, bro. Like I love rap, I love music, and I love sports too. So I was torn between those three. I was like, damn, bro, what should I do? And I wanted to do sports, and I was gonna do like a Giants channel, which I might still do. I mean, I don't know yet. We'll see. But that was a part of it. But then I was like, you know what? Nah, like I'm passionate about the motivational side of things. I felt like it would have been more helpful, and then I felt like I did a good choice. But today we're gonna get into a little bit of the music side and hip hop, and it's actually, I feel like, coincides with like goals a little bit. And then once I like stopped and like kind of looked at my notes, so the motivation for this podcast was the big talk right now all over social media in regards to hip hop is just how detrimental it is. People saying how the music is made to kill us, it's brainwashing us. You got the Charleston Whites, you got the I think Rico Reckless just said that they know the music is bad for you and everything else, and just it's so much like it almost seems like social media is kind of rebelling against hip hop. You know what I mean? And basically the question today is gonna be: is hip hop detrimental to the black community? And I'm gonna go through the pros and cons, and ultimately what at the end, I guess I'll come up with an idea. I'm gonna keep it so real. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all right now. I'm gonna expose my bias. I love hip hop. I love hip hop. I'm when I really sit back and I think about my life, right? There's a hip hop song I could put with every good moment of my life, every sad moment of my life, every angry moment of my life, every just whatever I think of. Like when I my deployment to Sweden back in 2019, I can give you a song with that. The YNW Melly, T Grizzly, what was the name of that song? Freddy Krueger. Shoot, my junior year of high school, wrestling season. Matter of fact, no, my senior year of high school wrestling season. Heading over to get my go to States. Drake dropped his if you're reading this is too late album. Just me remembering to get on a bus and listening to the music and hearing Legend for the first time. First time I heard Good Kid, Mad City. The first time I heard Love Sosa. The first, just me saying it is putting a smile on my face, bro. Like I got, oh my God, bro, so many good songs. 2018, I come down to VA and I'm fucked up. My money's fucked up, and T Grizzly drops that Activated. He drops Activated, and I remember when I heard that goddamn song, bro, I remember I just felt so motivated. I just felt like, bro, I could take on the fucking world. Like, this is like the soundtrack to my life. And so it'll be hard for me to really, really talk down on hip hop because of that. You feel me? And I understand, and I feel like a lot of the people who do talk down about hip hop are like, they weren't brought up loving the genre like that. Like everybody who I know that talks bad about hip hop, they not hip hop lovers. So it's kind of hard to explain to somebody how much it means without them. Like someone could come to me and tell me how much country rock has done for them in their life, and I just kind of look at them like, oh word. Like, oh word, like Billy Ray Cyrus is Touch Your Soul Gang. Like, but I'm saying that jokingly, but that I guarantee you there's somebody out there that's like Billy Ray Cyrus, got them through their toughest times, made some of their best times memorable. Like there's people out there like that. I can say the same thing. Shit, music at the end of the day is art, and it affects everybody differently. But I just gotta, I gotta be. I'm gonna try my best to be subjective as I'm talking about this. It's probably not going to work, but we'll see. Who knows? I might surprise myself because right now I can already tell you my mental is like I'm not talking down, but I am pretty unbiased with judging things, so we'll see. But so starting off, right, we'll get right into the pros of hip hop. So the very first thing that I think of when I think of the positivity of hip hop, number one is the fact that kids in the inner cities and kids that are poor can see success. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think when people say that, like if you didn't grow up like poor, if you didn't grow up like kind of in a fucked up situation, I guess like the hearing someone say, seeing it helped them, motivated them to try to do it. I don't know if it really resonates, honestly. So I'm gonna use myself as an example, not with hip hop, but with like for me it was sports. So like when if y'all read my book, the first chapter, going through the shots, going through my sixth grade year, the domestic violence, the sleeping on floors, all that shit. I remember I was watching the Steelers and Ravens, and I don't know if y'all remember, but back in the day, bro, the Steelers and Ravens, bro, their rivalry games used to be hellacious. I'm talking about niggas used to be getting bodied out that bitch, and I remember I'm sitting there and I'm watching. It's a post game. Hines Ward, one of the receivers. I remember I'm seeing Hines Ward, bro. He's in an interview. Bro, this nigga got on a motherfucking mink coat with some fucking diamonds in his ear, bro. I'm talking about these diamonds the size of my fist, bro. I'm like, yo. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, yo, these football motherfuckers is making some bread, bro. Like, he getting out for football? And then a little bit after that, not too long after that, because I didn't, I ended up listening to Ray Lewis's famous 52 Deca speech. And I remember when I'm listening to it, I'm like, yo. Because I remember seeing Ray Lewis in that press conference too, and he was fly. And I remember looking like, damn, bro. This nigga Ray Lewis went through the same shit I did. This nigga, he I remember like when he's talking about the, seeing it, the being mad. Like I remember when I first started working out, I was like, yo, dude, like I'm gonna get strong enough to where if a nigga put his hands on my mom, I'm gonna beat his ass. Like, and I'm hearing him say that shit, I'm like, yo. So I'm already relating to him right then and there, right? And then to see him have so much money off of football, you automatically think like, cause you gotta understand when you're in these situations, you fucked up. You don't have no hope or nothing. You kind of like, what is your example for success? You see what I'm saying? And then I'm looking and I see Ray Lewis with the diamonds and the fly clothes, and I'm seeing these, and they all come from similar backgrounds. So I'm like, yo, like. Dez Bryant had a story that was real similar. Dez Bryant was coming around that time. And I'm like, oh, like if they can do it, I could do it. What's the difference between us? You see what I'm saying? Now, I didn't make it in football. I didn't, go for, but football, I said a bunch of times, saved my life. And that was that's an example. So think of some of these kids coming from, think about if you was a kid who was maybe 4 or 5 years younger than Dirk. Right, you grew up in Dirk Hood and Dog Pound in Chicago. You kind of grew up looking at Dirk and seeing Reese and all them, and then you see him get older. You see him start making music, and you start to catch a wave. And you looking at him now with songs with Drake. And imagine being that kid. Maybe your whole life you probably didn't see yourself past being a gangbanger that maybe made it to 24 or 22. That's if you're lucky. Then you see this motherfucker who breathe the same air you breathed, ate from the same place you ate, just did everything just like you, the same individual, but yet look at him and how he's living. That's powerful, bro. And I don't think, and I wish, and I kind of, whenever rappers say that, I see people kind of roll their eyes, but I don't know if they know how powerful that is, bro. Because you got to understand, when there's no hope, bro, seeing that is the difference between like my mentality when I saw Ray Lewis on that video, it was one of the only things I was like, you know what, this shit ain't all bad, because it can get better. Look at him. It got better for him. You know, so the success of these rappers, it means a lot. It means a lot to their communities, because understand, hip hop derives from the inner cities. Hip hop grew from the hood. That's the birthplace of it. You see what I'm saying? And what made hip hop big, you know, I think they put this in Time magazine. Was it Time magazine? It was either Time magazine or New York Post. But I remember there was a major U.S. publication that did that basically did a article on hip hop when people were still thinking hip hop was kind of bullshit. And it was when I think what was it, the Furious Five or the Furious something. They made this song called The Message. Y'all probably heard it before. It's like don't push me, 'cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying. That joint, like, if you've heard that, that's called The Message. The reason why that song got so big was because they were highlighting the struggle. They was highlighting, you know, the pain that they was feeling in communities, and it resonated with people, and it moved people, and they felt, and you know, that's where hip hop derived from. That's what made hip hop big. And hip hop grew even more when you started to hear the songs from, you know, when you heard Nas Illmatic and you're hearing him talking about, pissy floors in the hallway and all this other stuff, and you know, talking about people sharing, eight nine people in a 1-bedroom apartment and all this other shit. Just, you know, you hearing these rappers describe their environments and everything like that, and it resonates, and you know, it moves people. It creates a story. And you know, this is what made hip hop what it is. You know what I mean? So that the fact that they can inspire these young kids who otherwise may not have any hope, any hope, that's big, man. That's huge. And that's a huge pro of hip hop. And you know, the other positive of hip hop is an outlet. Y'all gotta understand something, right? And I want to speak on, you know, part of why hip hop is so violent. So speaking to you know, the reflection, like, art, music is art, right? Art is normally going to reflect what's in the person's heart, his mind, you know, how he feels, you know. And you got to understand, in these communities, when these people are coming up, if you're growing up, right, if you're seeing violence, you're growing up with bullshit, you're growing up wanting more, you're growing up, you know, feeling these types of ways, and you mad about it. Like, honestly, there's no other way for me to put it. Like, you angry about this shit. Like, you know, and you also got to understand, the big thing in our communities, especially in these environments, is you dealing you dealing with a lot of, like, you know, you might be getting beat on. You know, you might be seeing people get beat on. You might be seeing people get killed. You might be seeing all these things. So when you're upset, you feel a way about this, you're gonna want to, you know, speak out about it. It might make you mad. You know, and like I said, like, I use, you know, everybody has different outlets. You know, for me, my outlet for my anger was sports. That's why I only did violent sports. I suck at everything else. I can't play baseball. I can't dribble a basketball. But when it came to football, I can go fuck somebody up. I can go flying down a hole. And I remember I used to be on the sideline, like, I'm going to put somebody on a cart today. Like, I remember, you know, that's why I did martial arts. That's why I did boxing and kickboxing. That's why I wrestled. That's why I did rugby. That's why I did, that's why I went to the Marine Corps. I only did things that were aggressive and I can be able to essentially hurt people. That was my outlet. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of people, because when you don't have those outlets, when you don't have the music, when you don't have the sports, when you don't have the something positive to put your energy into, you put into something negative. So these kids using hip hop as an outlet for their anger and for, you know, what they're seeing, I don't, you know, it's hard for me to say that they're wrong for that. And also, you know, what's funny about it, right? Because, you know, you'll hear a lot of people be like, you know, I'm not angry, or, you know, whatever. The funny thing about it is, you also got to understand this. There's two dynamics to this, right? So there's the people who's angry because they're going through too much. And then there's also the people who are angry because they're docile. So I forgot what it was like this psychological thing that they were talking about, but essentially what they said was, if people who are men who are forced to be super docile, the guy that works at like a cubicle, he has to be just this submissive, wormy little weakling. These are the guys that are real susceptible to road rage, because that's the only time they can feel like they can let out their animalistic side, right? So, these people who are like that, and that's a lot. That's most of America. You gotta think about it. Most people aren't growing up, seeing no super outlandish shit. You know what I mean? It's a first world country, especially nowadays. Like the economy, I know it's down as a whole, but like this is a much different America than it was 40 years ago. You see what I'm saying? You could just look at the stats and it'll tell you. So even though they still sell it that now is more dangerous, but how the media is, but whatever. But the stats will tell you it's a lot different of America. So, when I look at, say, like the fuck's I lost my damn train of thought. But so now when these people hear these songs, this is a chance, they hear like a Dirk verse, and it's like this is a release from their normal kind of docile, kind of stable, boring life. It's something that's energetic, something that's aggressive, something that they can see another part of themselves in. I know people that lift weights that are docile as a bitch everywhere else, but that's their time. They probably don't listen to rap any other time except when they're in the gym. And when they're in the gym, that's when they want to hear all that crazy, that vicious stuff, because it's their outlet of them, finally being able to be a man. You know what I'm saying? The same thing I see the same thing with people who do martial arts. They'll literally tell you like, yeah, man, it's just my only time I feel like I could be, a dude. Like I go out and do shit that doesn't feel like I'm have a fucking leash around my neck. And that's important. So that's music is an outlet. You know what I mean? That's a positivity. So you're giving an outlet to these people who otherwise would be finding ways of fucking their communities up, and then you're giving that outlet to people who are listening who have someone who they can relate to. Now, another thing is also the connectivity of rap, bro. And I guess you could say this for any music genre. But I don't think any other genre brings more people of different races together than rap. And that's just my opinion. I know somebody hearing this is gonna get mad and be like, "No, you fuck what you talking about. Jazz is the most, man, I know 4 Asian niggas and 2 Indian niggas and 3 black niggas and 2 white niggas that love jazz. How dare you?" Like, all right, bro, I'm sorry. Relax, gang. Just chill out. Like, but to me, like when I went to J. Cole's Dreamville Fest back in 2019. Was it 2019? It was the first one he did. I think it was 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. But yeah, I went to his Dreamville Fest in 2019, and I remember like I'm seeing like, and I know now it's like a big thing where white people like say nigga when they rapping songs and things like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm at the concert and I'm seeing white people sing along with the words, and obviously J. Cole says nigga. Like, this is when his set came on, right? And they're saying the word, and I remember I thought to myself for a second. I'm looking, and I'm like, you know what? Now, personally, I don't get mad when people, like, let me put it like this, right? I've been listening to J. Cole since I was in 5th grade. Maybe 6th grade, but just around 5th grade. I think the first album I heard from him was the album before the Warm Up. So whichever one that was, that might have been Friday Night Lights. I think that was the one. But I've been listening to him for a long time. So I'm looking at this white dude rap the lyrics and he's saying that nigga and all that, and I'm like, how could I be mad? What if he's been a fan of J. Cole longer than I have? And I'm telling you right now, like I told y'all before, like rap, I for every good or bad memory, like, man, J. Cole has got me through some of my toughest times in life. He's got me through some of my best times in life. there's certain J. Cole songs that like I won't listen to when other people are around because it makes me a little teary eyed, like bro, like that. Because I not even so much just the song itself, but just it just not only is the song, but it also reminds me of like where I was, what I was feeling when I heard it, what it got me through. So I'm looking at this white dude rap along with these lyrics. What if he has the same story? What if he's been such a big fan and J. Cole's got him through a whole bunch of shit, and J. Cole's made him feel a certain way, and J. Cole's made him happy, he's made him sad, he's made him, hyped up. He's, his music has done this to this dude. Who am I to tell him that he can't sing along with the lyrics to his favorite rapper? Y'all see what I'm saying? But me not even knowing this motherfucker, and we got cool. So I didn't specify this, but I'm talking about a dude that was next to me during the festival. We was kind of cool during the festival, but I'm like, this is what music does. It brings us together. And the thing about rap now is such a multicultural thing. Like we all just like we can all. It's almost like sports. Almost like when I talk like I could have nothing in common with somebody, like nothing. Like I could like meet you and I don't really like you, and you may not like me, and we don't got nothing in common. But let's say you're a huge football fan, or we could talk for hours. We can talk for hours, especially if you know what you're talking about. Same thing with music. If you were a big hip hop fan, we could talk for forever. So it just brings people together, man. And I feel like people ignore that. Like if you look at like Rolling Loud, South by Southwest, Coachella, these like, and under any other circumstances besides sports, when else would you see this mix of people interacting like that? Especially nowadays. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like you see that shit, and it's just like people forget about that, like as if hip hop doesn't bring us together in a lot of ways. And I got man, like I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a dude I had met. He was in the Navy. I want to say the Navy, something like that. He was in one of those, but he was came over to my homeboy's house. We was doing like a game night, and that dude was with his I think at that time was his fiance, I want to say. And I remember we was all talking, and he was a big music head, and so was his fiance, and we're all having this conversation. And I remember as we're talking about it, I'm like, damn, this nigga's lucky as a bitch, bro. I wish I could find a girl that loved hip hop as much as I did. Like, she was stick with the whole convo. Like that was one of the only times I could ever think of in my entire life that I ever looked at somebody and said, must be nice. Cause I swear to God, it's such a dope, like when you have that connection with somebody off of, music, whether y'all be friends or whether it be a girl that you're talking to, that shit just makes everything so much like it's, the connectivity from hip hop is amazing. Like that's just the best way I can just put it, bro. It's amazing, and it brings us together. And I feel like everything's gotten so convoluted, and we've gotten so mixed up and just focusing on the negative and the bad of hip hop. But I I think we also gotta remember to look at the good too, bro. There's a lot of good that hip hop does. You know what I mean? You also gotta look at how many millionaires and billionaires had hip hop made, and people who have given back to the community. Now, unfortunately, the black community is not very receptive or not very appreciative of the people that give back, but that's a whole nother video. I ain't gonna get started. As soon as I said it, I started getting annoyed. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save it because that's gonna be a whole other topic. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna chill. But anyhow, but yeah, bro, it's just it's just it's such a we're sometimes you just focus on too much of the negative and things. Like I said with a lot of these like pros and cons podcasts, nothing's ever fully bad. There's always gonna be positives of certain things. So now we're gonna get into the cons of hip hop. Now, the first con that came to mind, right? Well, so I'm gonna say, so this is gonna be the cons of hip hop, but I'm also gonna give why hip hop is in the state that it's in, like why it's like that. So for the first con, for me is lack of development. among the artists. Now, what I mean by that, right? If you look at most gangster rappers, right? I'm gonna use probably one of the biggest ones of all time. I'm gonna use 50 Cent. I'm a huge fan of 50 Cent. I love 50 Cent. Matter of fact, 50 Cent's album "Get Rich or Die Trying" was the first album that I ever had in my life. My mom got it for my sixth birthday. Should not have been listening to that as a 6-year old, but that I love that song. Like anyone, like I don't know too many other people that knew me from my childhood that back then. But like if you were, if I could, like if there was someone who I met back in like 2000 who knew me in 2003 as a little kid, they'd be like, oh yeah, his favorite song was In the Club, or What Up Gangsta was my shit as a little kid. I used to be in there. That was my joint. Like I love that whole album. Anyhow, when I look at 50 evolved, right? And people may not notice it, but if you go through all his albums, right? Let's say the first two albums, which was Get Rich or Die Trying, The Massacre, right? This is still the raw, violent, the natural aggression, all that shit. But if you look at some of his like the Kanan tape, and you look at like what's that album he had with the fucking lion on it? What the fuck was that line? Animal Ambition. Something like that. So it had a lion with some blood on his face. Anyhow, he if you listen to those albums, yeah, the aggression's still there. Cause once it's in you, it's always gonna be in you. Like, it's just gonna be there. But if you notice, it's more smooth, it's more methodic, it's more now he's talking about money, he's talking about hoes, he's talking about, it's not straight up shoot 'em up, bang bang. He's growing with his audience, right? And it shows growth to his fans. So, and if you, whatever gangster rapper you want to think of, you can see that with almost all of them. You know what I mean? Except for what I'm getting to, the ones that don't grow, right? And I think they don't grow for a reason. Cause you look at it. So an example of this, and it hurts to say it, cause I fuck with him heavy, but an example of this is kind of Lil Durk. And the reason why I say this, right, and here, you know what, Durk is actually the perfect example because I know his career so well, I could break down to you how I know this is what it is with Lil Durk. So, first things first, I've been listening to Durk from before. Like I know I'm a hitter by myself with Durk. Like that, like I'm a hitter by myself. I don't need nobody help. Like this is back in like 2011. Dreads Durk, when he had the fat white baby moms and all that other shit. Like that was the Durk I was bumping. You feel me? Like this was pre Sign to the Streets 1. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think this is before he put out Sign to the Streets 1. This was what's the name of that damn album? Damn, I don't remember the name of the album. It was prior to Signs of the Streets 1. Like Signs of the Streets 1 was like 2013. It's definitely before that. Anyhow, like if you listen to that Durk and you listen to Durk now, yes, the delivery's better, the lyrics are better, the overall artistic ability is better, but the content's the same. Right? It's not. Now, what I'm saying is he can still do gangster rap. If that's his lane, that's his lane. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, 50 Cent still did gangster rap. But 50 Cent still wasn't dissing. 50 Cent wasn't it was a bit evolved a little bit. It was a little bit more about money, a little bit more about when you listen to Durk's music content wise hasn't really undertook that growth except for one time period, this is why I think this is interesting. Durk went through a little spell in like 20, what was it, 16, 17, really like 16 and 15, where he was doing like this R&B thing. I'm not gonna lie, like as big of a fan as I am of Durk, for that little span, I didn't like listening to Durk's music. Like when he came out with that Jay-Z and Beyonce shit in the I was just like, what the fuck? What is this? Like it was too drastic of a shift, I felt like, from what his content was. Not saying he can't change it. Rappers can definitely, explore and be artistic and, do what they want. But like, for how quickly and how hard he went, because it felt like it went from, what Durk normally to all this this straight up just kind of commercial industry lovey-dovey shit, and it was just like, what the fuck is this? I remember a lot of my homies felt the same way, and the funny thing is, like, you know, I like, we all was like, yo, what Dirk got? What's going on with bro? Like, what the fuck is this? And then, like, we stopped listening to him for a minute. Matter of fact, when he dropped that album, when his face was on the cover with all the names and shit embedded in his face, that was when we was like, oh yeah, nah, this ain't it. And it was another, I think, Sign to the Streets. It was another one. I think it might have been Sign to the Streets 4 or something like that. But then, you know, he had a resurgence, and now you see the Dirk you see now. He you know, right around when Von got out and him and Von got together, I feel like Von kind of brought out that more gritty Chirac, you know, savage side of him again that he had when he was, you know, doing the Sign to the Streets, the No Competition and all other shit. He was dissing Lil Mark. But the problem with that is, so let's say you was listening to Dirk, right? Dirk is your favorite rapper. Let's say you started listening to Dirk. I started listening when I was 14. So let's say you started listening to him when you was, let's say you waited till midway, let's say 2014. This is Sign to the Streets 2, and you was like 15, right? Or 14. Let's say 14. So now you're at prime Dirk, right? When he was shoot 'em up, gang banging, BD, all that said, GDK, the whole, you know, that was Dirk. Let's say he influenced you to start moving kind of like that a little bit. Because let's be honest, the influence does, you know, that was my next point. But yeah, he starts influencing you to move like that a little bit. If while you're doing that, you start to notice as you're listening to Dirk that he's starting to switch up a little bit. He's starting to talk more about money. He's starting to talk more about hoes. If you didn't get into a lot of trouble when you first started listening to him, which, let's be honest, a lot of people talk about the influence and they're making people shoot. Let me tell you something. Niggas is soft. Let me say it one more time. Niggas is soft. Let me tell you something. You can't, unless somebody, from what I've seen, bro, unless somebody's getting a girl fucked, unless somebody's girl getting fucked or somebody's moving on a girl or they, something like that, the dudes ain't finna shoot at nobody for nothing. Especially not no fucking rapper. So like they might start dabbling in the streets a little bit, but they still soft as shit. No one ever became a full-fledged murderer because of a fucking rap song. I can tell you that right now. And I don't even think Charleston White was, as bad as he talk about hip hop, I don't think he'll even, well, maybe he did say it, but I don't think he can even really believe. Because especially if you're around people enough and you see how people act and how soft people can be, it's like, I don't give a fuck who you listen to. I could put you in the room and make you listen to drill music from 7 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night for 2 months straight, and your bitch ass still ain't gonna go out and put hands on nobody. You soft as shit. You wanna talk it though. They'll talk that game. Don't get me wrong. They'll get on Instagram. They'll talk crazy. But they ain't gonna put hands on nobody. Soft as baby shit. So, you know, when I looked at I just looked at the growth of these rappers. The fact that they're starting their own growth, I feel like it's starting the growth of their fans, and that's a kind of hip hop. And I feel like if you're starting the growth of your fans, you know, you're missing an opportunity to positively affect some of these people. So, you know, and that's something that, you know, again, they're not, you know, they say they're not role models and stuff like that, but you gotta value the effect that music and things like that has on individuals. It has a big effect. You know, it's a big part of it. So, you know, I feel like that's something that's a problem that I think I do have with rap. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not me saying I don't like Dirk for what he is now. And what, like, I love his music. I listen to this nigga every day, but I feel like he can still alter up the content and still have it be just as good if he just showed a little bit of growth. The next kind of hip hop is label influence. Labels, to me, I feel like the reason why hip hop doesn't have that big presence of positivity, because you gotta understand, hip hop can be broken down to a bunch of subgenres, right? You have the conscious rap. You have the I hate saying it, but emo rap, bitch ass shit, fucking yeah. No. Y'all know how I feel about soft shit, bro. That fucking pussy ass. Don't get me started. Anyhow, you got emo rap. You got gangster rap, drill rap. You got all types of what else? You got R&B ish rap. I guess that's what you could call fuck was bro name Tory Lanez with like Tory Lanez does. So like you got like kind of a lot of subgenres of rap, but the only ones that's really pushed is just the straight up the gangster rap. There used to be a point in time in the 90s you can get to whatever subgenre of rap that you want to listen to. You had the boom bap, you had all types of the G funk, and the labels allowed the artists to be free and make what they wanted to. But when something gets so profitable and when there's so much money in rap now, these labels get involved. And you also got to remember, these labels are not ran by black people. None of them are. Like there's no major label in the U.S. that's really ran by any black individuals, which is sad because it's like you got a predominantly black audience, predominantly black artists, and a black based and probably the most influential genre of music in history. Like I don't think, maybe if you want to say, I mean, I don't know, I can't really think of another genre that has changed. Like you gotta understand, hip hop is clothes, hip hop is dancing, hip hop is just so much, it's so many different things, and it's international too. Like it's just crazy. Like it's all over the place. So, but it's not ran by anyone who's black. And I feel like that has a big effect on why you see the bullshit you see. You see the industry plants. Now, I was going to do a whole nother podcast about it, but you started to see like even the political bullshit get into hip hop, which is crazy to me. Like, what the fuck? Got politics like this. Like they got industry plants based on politics. Like I don't care what nobody says. Lil Nas X was a fucking industry plant to the highest degree. His was so much so it was fucking obvious as hell. But fucking that's just what these labels is like. Yeah, we gotta start catering some of these. Don't get me started. But like that's what that shit was there for. So it's just like, when these labels are so involved, and that's why they're trying to downplay the independent scene so much. They're trying not to let that get out that there's a lot of independent rappers, because they don't want that. Because if the independent scene grows in hip hop, their chokehold on it goes away. It's not going to be as strong, which is important. Because these motherfuckers are the fact they have so much power, they can do too much, and they can affect the music too much. Now, whether or not hip hop is detrimental to black people, I could have went a lot longer with the cons. Could have went a lot longer with the pros too. I'm gonna say, on the surface, yes. Because when you're influencing people at the magnitude that they do, with the message that they do, it is negative. I'm going to reiterate this to what I said earlier, though. Most motherfuckers are soft. The reason why I'm saying that is because there's only two reasons why most men are going to kill somebody or going to do some violence. It's because you're poor or because your girl's getting fucked. And even if your girl's getting fucked, if you have something to lose, you're probably not going to go kill nobody. So what's the common denominator? You're poor. What's the one thing you hear about every gangbanger turned, good person or good gang? I mean, not turn good person. Every gangbanger turned civilian, every rapper that said that they used to gang bang and all that stuff. What's the one common thing you hear with all of them? I had to go get that money. What was the first thing I mentioned? Hope. If they was to put more effort into changing the communities, if they was to put as much effort into changing the communities as they did about changing hip hop, there wouldn't be a need to do all that. If we're being honest. You think that the murder rate in Chicago is gonna be as high as it is? If like people, you know what's so funny? People talk about the murder rates in these cities, right? And like the Chicago's and the Arkansas and the Little Rock, Arkansas, and the LA's and all that stuff and shit. People don't talk about like the fucking the poverty rates in these neighborhoods, not in the cities, the neighborhoods that they're talking about that's responsible for these murder rates are ridiculous. I'm talking about you got starving kids in these fucking towns in a first world country. So it's like if this is gonna be the environment, I don't give a fuck whether you're white, black, green, brown. If you look at the Irish, if you look at just white people in general, if you look at, Hispanics, whoever the case may be, when they're in them trenches, when they ain't got no fucking money, crime happens because you're in a desperate state. When you're in a desperate state of survival, you're gonna do what you have to do to survive. That's just the law of human nature. Adapt and overcome. We're the most adaptive creatures on Earth. So that's just a part of what happens. So violence is gonna come a part of that. Now, that's not me absolving hip hop because I y'all know me, bro. I'm gonna call it, even kill. Yes, there's a lot of things that hip hop can change. Like I said, hip hop needs to grow. I feel like the development is being stunted. There's more that can come from there's more that hip hop can portray than what it has been. Now, I feel like some of that stunting growth is in turn because of the labels, but it's also because of the artists. Because you can change things, you can make yourself, a better version of you for your fans without, label effects. And there's enough money out here now where you can go independent and not have to worry about the motherfuckers at all anyway, once you get the bag. So, I'm gonna, so like I said, on the surface, the answer is yes, but if you're just gonna look at things on the surface and not change the inner workings of what's going on, then you're not really gonna make a change of anything. Because they could stop rap tonight. We could all start listening to Billy Ray Cyrus tomorrow. We could all, you know what? We could all just say, you know what? No more Dirk, no more Youngboy, no more Cole, no more none of that. You know what? The whole world, we bumping Milli and Vanilli. We bumping Milli and Vanilli, and that's all we listening to. And Ice JJ Fish. And guess what? If the niggas is poor, they still gonna be shooting. If dudes is hungry, they still gonna be shooting. It's not gonna matter who they listening to. You listen to I was watching a Vlad TV interview that he had with MC8. He was an old he was a rapper, G-Funk rapper from LA back in like the late 80s and the early 90s. He was talking about how they used to do drive-bys to Flashlight by Parliament. They used to do drive-bys to fucking to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Niggas was sliding the Earth, Wind, and Fire gang. Do you remember on the 21st of September spraying shit, dropping niggas? Bow, knocking niggas tops off. Like, this shit's crazy. Like, they was doing that. So that right there should tell you, like, if there's still a issue in the community, it's gonna be there regardless of what they listening to. Regardless of what they listening to. I'm pretty sure they didn't have, cars, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of niggas that got their ass beat the opera back in the day. I mean, motherfuckers you think probably had, like, the little crank case thing, listening to opera music, getting stomped on, getting spanked. They probably had the banjo music going. They hit niggas with banjos. Bow! Little old country white dudes. Like, that's just a part of, like, if you're in a desperate spot, you're gonna do a desperate thing. The art is what it is. Art is just an outlet. Art is a reflection of the communities. So, I just wanted to speak on that, man. I enjoyed this podcast a lot. If you could tell, I love rap, bro. I might do some more of these. There's actually a little option I think on Spotify. You can ask me questions or something like that. So I don't know if y'all rock with this, bro. Just like let me know. You know, I got my Instagram and all that stuff on there. And just like if you fuck with this, just like tap like, yo, bro, do more music ones, and I definitely will because I love this. This is fun. But yeah, man, y'all already know how I'm gonna end this out, bro. We don't chase dreams, we hunt goals. Tenacious Rose is now available on Amazon, $10.99. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man, and y'all be easy.